Massive game this weekend. The Wallabies taking on Ireland in Dublin, 6:30am. You'll be able to catch it live and on demand, exclusively on Stan Sport. And the expected return, Shep, of Len Ikitau back into that starting back line. How big of an inclusion?
Massive. Not that Paisami hasn't been great, but we have missed a little bit by having Len Ikitau at 12. He's just a very classy player, not only in wide backline plays like that, but he doesn't shirk away from the hard stuff. He'll go looking for the ball, he'll pick and drive, he'll clean out. So he's a huge inclusion. What
about Fraser McWright and the tour that he's having so far? Actually, the year that he's having in the gold jersey, Matt.
Oh, on the ball as a pilferer, there's no one better in world rugby, and if that's the way you pick your sevens, and that's the way I like to pick a seven, he's the best in world rugby. Like, he is a genuine threat at every breakdown, and what I love about him at the breakdown is he's so clinical, and he paints the picture so well. I don't know how he gets the ball so quickly. Like, it's just he's just so strong over it.
He saved Australia's bacon.
Here's some good stats, and you know I love stats.
I know you love stats.
In the last two games, Autumn Nation Series, he's had 8 turnovers at the breakdown. The next closest out of all the teams is 3. So that shows the daylight between him. In the Italian game alone, he went to 31 attacking breakdowns. That's attacking. That's not defensively trying to steal the ball. Wow. So he's not only stealing opportunities, but he's there to make sure Australia is recycling the ball. His effort across an 80-minute span is quite incredible.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect anything less from a good Queenslander, would you? Speaking of that buzzword today, attacking, you've referenced this a little bit, but I know you wanted to dive deep into taking a look at some of the style and perhaps the issues in the attack for the Wallabies.
Yeah, so look, this is a really good example. This is from the game against Italy on the weekend. We have sped it up because it does go for 18 phases, but the key thing I want you to look at is the amount of passes that goes off each phase. It's often only one. And then also just how tight the Wallaby attack is. There's no room around those pods. There's also no one in motion. You can see Tane Edmed pops in and out, but really the Australian backline doesn't have any deception out the back. We're not looking to move back down the blind side. We go the same way over and over and over again, and it becomes very monotonous. Now, the key defensively for Italy is because they know what's coming around the corner each time, it makes their defensive job very, very easy. They know who's going to be the ball receiver. They line up in front of him, and there you see, they just waltz up and they make a tackle. 222 tackles Italy made against us on the weekend. We failed to make the gain line, well, we only made the gain line 43% of the time. So what the problem is I think it's too predictable what we're doing in attack. And second to that, we just don't have enough motion to create deception in the defensive line. And by creating that deception, you're going to give our team and our attack more width, but you're also going to force the defence to have to stretch. And once they stretch, they're going to have to make decisions on who they tackle. Indecision is what creates pockets. All of a sudden, the Wallaby attack starts to get a lot more momentum and we start getting over that game line.
Can you show us some, because I think you would have found examples of what they're trying to do or what they want to do?
I've been in the dungeon with Cameron Pitts this week and we've come up with some beauties. Now, look, there is so many options, but this is a really good example. Ireland versus the All Blacks in Chicago. James Lowe will get in and he'll play like Len Ikitau, so the Wallabies need to be aware of that weekend. But look at the difference in width, the difference in the amount of players in motion for the Irish team. Just there alone, you can see how wide they are and the All Blacks not really understanding on who's going to get the ball. Again, they then come back the other way. All the backs are in motion out the back here. You're going to get a good look at it. You get penetration. You're over the gain line. You can see that the All Blacks are under pressure. Now you've got the players running out the back that are creating a backline advantage to run to the wide areas of the field, and then you've got these forwards coming on the angle. They've got good spacing, so you're forcing spacing in the All Black defensive line, and by doing that, you create holes and pockets.
It's pretty compelling vision. Like, it's exactly what Shep said. Like, they've got people running at pace into holes, into space, stretching the defence, because at the end of the day, if I'm standing next to you and we're defending, it's very easy to make a tackle.
You're making the tackle.
Yeah. But, you know, if you start making the defence spreads, there's 3 and 4 metres between them, close to the line, it's almost impossible. It's almost like we're playing tram tracks, which is the old way of training where you have 8 forwards versus 8 forwards in the 5 metre channel. It's almost like we're playing tram tracks on a full football field.
Now, here's the last one I want to show you. Keeping in mind that I think the Springboks are the best in the world at going the same way. So like we saw before with Ireland, this is where you just want to keep getting around the corner. Now, the process you're trying to achieve here is by getting in behind the game line and making it hard for your opposition to get round and set a defensive line. Look how far the Springboks have come. Now, when Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu spots that they've overfolded, he realises that he can release back the other way, creates a great one-on-one opportunity on the opposite side of the field, and he runs through and scores a great try. The most interesting part about that play from the Springboks, they were actually doing it with one man down. So not only were they able to find that space, but they did it with only 14 players on the field. If the Wallabies can find a way to stretch defences and put people in two minds, we're going to get over the game line more. Then the backs need to get together and have something ready when we come back into space.
We did see it a little bit in the first half, first 50 minutes of that game against Italy, more so than we had probably the two tests before that. So we know that Wallabies are capable of doing it. We also know that Ireland this weekend are a very good side, in the argument for one of the best sides in the world at the moment, and very tough to beat at home. Matt, they're a truly great side, and particularly what they've done probably the last decade, starting with Schmidt through to now.
Oh, I think their record at home, you guys will tell me, Shep will tell me, I think they've lost 2 games in the last 5 years, I think you said. They're a great side, they're well coached, their structure is phenomenal, so it allows them to play all avenues. And the part of the game we haven't shown yet, we've spoken about, is that box kicking game. The contestable box kicking game. Gibson Park is a genius on those box kicks.
Yeah.
They're high and they stay up there forever, and everyone's contestable and on the money, and that's a big part of the game. And if we don't do well at that, what happened against England, the first 15 points were from box kicks. If we don't diffuse that, we'll be out of the game before we get a chance to play.
You mentioned you love mongrel and you want to see a little bit more mongrel. We saw it, as you've referenced, in the Lions. Is there going to be some renewing of hostilities and rivalries this weekend from what we saw in the Lions?
Well, all I know is I watched the England game and I wanted to jump out and give Henry Pollock one at the end of that game when he came on. So I hope, I want to see more of it. And it's not.
Mate, all these fights are all Irish as well.
They're Irish.
They're the ones that want to throw
they want to
down.
go. No, it's not a fight. It's just saying we're not going to take a backward step, and it's saying everyone we're going to play physical and confrontational. It's amazing how much the standard lifts with physicality when you don't accept your team doing a certain thing. Like the first lines test when Curry hit Liner in the air. Guys I played with, it would have been a lot worse for that poor
Should have been a red card.
But anyway, all I'm saying is that it does make a difference, and it shows everyone, fans, how much it matters. I'm not suggesting it doesn't matter to these guys. I know it does, but show it, And it is about controlled aggression. We've all gone too far. But that's what they're paid to do, to be out there and make it physical and make it personal.
Yeah, and it's going to be. And do you know where that starts? When Ireland's call fires up in Dublin.
Isn't it the greatest anthem of all?
You know what you're in for. It is going to be absolutely enormous. And the first 10, 20 minutes, I think, for the Wallabies is going to be huge. The biggest concern I have for them is just the amount of weapons across the park that Ireland has. The box kick is going to be huge, but the way that they can use basically every attacking option in the game now, Ireland, that's how they've developed, and that's how they've become in the top 3 teams in the world. That's how they're competing with New Zealand and South Africa, because they've added all those strings to their bow. Chucky.
Putting arrows in the what? In the quiver. Yeah, there we go.
It can come from everywhere. So, this is going to be a huge test for the Wallabies.
You speak about weaponry, and we've spoken a lot about Joe Schmidt. How much of a weapon is he for the Wallabies, given his history with Ireland? We heard earlier, I think it was Harry Wilson, saying that he possibly knows the Irish team better than they know themselves. Is it a genuine, piece of armoury you've got there with him?
Oh, it's definitely helpful. It's not going to hurt, but at the end of the day, the players have got to do it right. And just going back to what Shep was talking about, I think part of the game where we can get an edge on them, we saw it against the Lions, is that scrum time.
Yep.
If we can scrum like we did, that scrum the footage showed, there was a couple of scrums like that, and we can do it for everyone and put pressure on their scrum, it makes a massive difference the way the game's being played. You get a midfield scrum, you draw a penalty on your own ball, you kick for touch, attacking line-out maul. And that's, I think the maul's another part of the game they really can do better at.
Yeah.
More, if they do that, that's where we're going to beat them.
Line-out in general, I thought our line-out, particularly Game 3 against the British and Irish Lions, was very good. I think Joe understands their structure and their system. That's probably something that doesn't change a huge amount, I wouldn't have thought, Tuck. So I think we can attack them there again as well, which will come back to who Joe decides to pick in the second row, because that might be a really important selection there. They're beatable. They're definitely beatable, but if the Wallabies play that a similar sort of style as they played last weekend, it could be an ugly day at the office, because that's not how you beat a team like that.
All right, they're beatable. That's what you've just said. So give me predictions, the two of you. Do the Wallabies win? Do you want to throw a scoreline in there? Do they not win? Give me something.
The heart's saying the Wallabies, the head's saying the Irish.
Well, pick one. Come on, mate.
27-21.
To
Ireland.
Okay.
Ireland.
You're off the show.
No, I was asking myself last week, do we always seem to tip the Wallabies? I would have to tip Ireland. I think it'd be a brave man to not tip against them. Understanding exactly who's available and what the selections will finally be, we should find that out very shortly. But it's going to be a very, very tough game for the Wallabies. And I think, I don't want to make fatigue an excuse, but I think it's been a long year. I think Ireland will beat us, and they'll beat us quite well. But I'm looking to see the Wallabies just play, a better game of football this weekend. And if they perform well for 80 minutes and go down, I won't be
The only thing I
disappointed.
will say is they're no more underdogs than they were against South Africa at Joburg a few months ago.
Wow.
That was a game that there was no chance of winning that game. So if they can do it against South Africa, in South Africa at Joburg, which hadn't been done for 62 years, they can beat Ireland in Dublin.
Mate, it's the old Lloyd Christmas rule, 1 in a million. You're telling me there's a chance.
There's always a chance.
Absolutely massive clash this weekend. We can't wait to bring it to you. You can catch it live and on demand on your home of rugby, Stan Sport.
Emotion etched all over the face of Peter O'Mahony. One of their biggest test matches awaits them. Jorgensen! Oh, it's intercepted. Has he got enough to go all the way?